YouTube, we are in the top 8 of the no ban list tournament. Now you may be thinking there's still a ban list. Well, it's a list with no ban cards. Anything that's forbidden is now limited to 1 instead, and we are still using the current ban list. I do intend to progress this tournament into further unlimiting other cards. Maybe the next event we could take limited 1 cards, turn it into semi-limited. We could turn semi-limited cards into unlimited. Your suggestions will be heard by me. I will be implementing whatever you want. And with that said, get ready for the top 8 as we have Branded versus Tenpai. Tenpai with no ban list. I guess they get to use Terraforming, Pot of Prosperity, Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, maybe using Painful Choice also. We know that Branded is using Branded Expulsion, which allows you to floodgate your opponent, reborning a monster from the grave onto your opponent's field, which would force them out of being able to summon anything. Begin.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Branded opening in the draw phase, which will successfully play around the Effect Veiler. And here we go, another banned card, Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. If this card is special summoned, you cannot special summon any monsters for the rest of the turn except Gimmick Puppet monsters. Titan-clad, send from the deck, a Cartesia. Cartesia is going to be adding back to the hand during the end phase. And we now have a Lightning Storm, which does not work on defense position monsters. Activate, wipe away the back row mate, and we're going to summon a Chandra. Chandra, start of the damage step, summon a Pydra. Pydra, damage step, add a Kaiman from the deck, wipe away the Alubur, as we also take out the Quem. Do we have lethal damage here? Yes, we do. Yusuf is out. Yusuf, I would like to hear from you. Do you think that top 8 should be best of 3 for tomorrow? What do you think? Adamancipator versus Kashtira in the top 8. Now, why are we playing Kashtira in a no banless event? We have, or should have, the Diablosis. The Mind Hacker Diablosis states that you are able to look at your opponent's extra deck and banish a card face down, which would then trigger your Shang-Ri. Shang-Ri is going to be enabled to completely lock up the entire field because of the Mind Hacker. The Mind Hacker also has a trigger effect. It states that you could banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck face down equal to the number of their already face down banished cards, thus double triggering the Shang-Ri. We have Fenrir here as the Theosis is going to add back the Kashtira Birth. Is it over for snacks? Well, the Fairy Tale Snow on normal summon can out a card. We could flip down the Shang-Ri, we could flip down the Arise Heart, but what if all 5 of our slots are locked up? We also have the Banned, Soul Charge. Target any number of monsters in your graveyard, special summon all of them. You do lose 1,000 for each monster summoned. You also cannot conduct your battle phase. We just lost our banned Elder Entity Norden. Now, we have the Mind Hacker hacking the deck here, banishing 4 cards off the top of the deck face down, locking up another field zone. Now, in Snax' extra deck, let's take a gander at that real quick. We have what we saw in a previous duel, the Azathoth. Why is this card banned? Well, on your first turn, or I guess on the second turn also, you're going to easily be able to Exceed Summon this, and then your opponent cannot activate monster effects for the rest of the turn as we make an Outer Entity. All we have to do is make a Nyarla, which is 2 level 4 monsters. Then we have the ability to completely turn them off. We also have the Banned Crystron Hulk, 2 monsters including a tuner, then summons a tuner from the deck. We have Fenrir, Shang-Ri, Mind Hacker. Let's see what happens. Super Poly is ready to fuse up with their field potentially. Adamancipator, Analyzer, special summon for the hand, triggering the Unicorn, triggering the Fenrir, which will also trigger the Mind Hacker and trigger the Shang-Ri. We're going to Super Poly, discard, fuse up with the field. Not today. Say goodbye to the Fenrir and our own body into the Mood Dragon. The Unicorn is still going to banish face down, which will be triggering the Shang-Ri. Shang-Ri, lock up another zone. Mind Hacker is going to banish cards, which will then trigger the Shang-Ri again. Did we have to normal summon the Fairy Tale Snow to flip down the Shang-Ri, right? They had no way to stop it. What do? Oh my, right, am I wrong or am I right? Flip down Shang-Ri, they have no out, flip it down, then our zone does not get locked up. Let's now hop into another duel. We have Tier versus Tier. And without looking at the extra deck, you can already see painful choice. This forces a painful choice onto the opponent. As you select 5 cards from your deck, show them to your opponent selects one of them to add to your hand, and then the rest gets sent to the grave. Oh my God, he is going first. We have no Ash Blossom to negate that painful choice. What the? Painful choice is going to add a Fairy Tale Snow to the hand as the other 4 cards are now sent to the grave. Are you ready? We have a Guido in Kelbeck, which can in total mill 10 cards. We have Sharon, which could trigger to fusion summon. We have Rhinoheart, which could reborn from engrave. Let's activate Kelbeck, Agido, Sharon, and Rhino. That's right, these cards were sent to the grave by card effect. Sharon is going to be fusing with the graveyard to come forth and make a Kick Kalos. Now, milling 10 is not so good if it's the mirror match, as they now also get to mill. So what are we looking for in the mill? We need the shufflers. We need Mudora. We need the Keldo to get bouncing back. Let's analyze both players' graveyards here. Off of Rento's deck, we milled a Graceful Charity. Ain't no way. We do have Mudora. That is very good. We also have a DD Crow in our hand to help banish away any problematic cards in their graveyard. And we also have Keldo and Mudora to shuffle away and also banish a DD Crow, whatever Maybach may be triggering. We have our own Mudora. We have a Merly, which will trigger to fusion summon. We are playing Fiendsmith cards. We also have Sharon. Kick Cal and summon trigger. Rhino when sent to the grave trigger. Sulliek trigger. The turn player is going to be triggering other cards. Merly trigger. We could shuffle back or we could banish a DD Crow. Sharon also trigger. Rhinoheart trigger. Chain Link 7 with the Sulliek to search our deck. Chain Link 8 to add back a trap and grave. Chain Link 10. We are targeting 3 cards, 9 that is. We're gonna go to 10 with a Mudora. Mudora, Chain Link 10. Target your 3 cards to return back. Are we gonna go for Chain Link 11? Chain Link 11. Tier Kashtira, banish from our hand or grave to summon and mill 3. Let's resolve it back. As you can see why back in the day people were timing out playing tier versus tier. Heartbeat is going to add back nothing as it was shuffled back. We're going to grab a Hovness, which can, in response to an opponent's monster activated, we could summon and mill 3. We have Rhinoheart here, which will trigger after the chain completely resolves, adding our own Hovness, which we could change the opposing player's Rhinoheart activating. We have Hovness in grave triggering, Rhinoheart on field triggering, Tier Cash triggering to get mill 3ing. We're going to chain our own Hovness. Now, we do have DD Crow to banish away the in-grave Hovness. Not today. All these turn 0 plays. This is absolute insanity. All of this started off from a painful choice as we are going to be milling 3 additional cards. We now have our Fairy Tale Snow. You may be thinking Fairy Tale Snow is a banned card, right? It's limited to 1. It's a valid card in current Yu-Gi-Oh! For some reason. Tier Kid is going to reborn the Rhinoheart. Rhinoheart on summon is going to send from the deck. We're going to mill 3 plus mill 5. So we have mill 8 cards plus send a card from the deck to the graveyard. We have 17 cards left in the deck. Where's our Pot of Greed milled? We have another banned card, Instant Fusion banned. We have the Tearlament Field Spell banned. Let's resolve it. Heartbeat, let's add back the Sulliek. Merly is triggering to fusion summon. Now, for anyone thinking, of course, this event would be dominated by Tearlament, we're abiding by current limits. Of Merly is just limited to 1, Hovness is limited to 1, Sharon is semi-limited, so even with all of the current restrictions on Tearlament, this deck is still absolutely dominating. We have Scream adding back a Crime when sent to the grave to negate anything, further going into a Dark. Dark cannot reborn anything because we summoned it in the wrong spot, but do we even need to reborn something? I think it probably still would have been good, but that's okay. Now, what forms of disruption do we have? In grave, we don't have, we could have summoned a Sprite Elf, right? Elf with the Dark if we reborn, then Elf could have reborned our Merly to mill 3 during the opponent's turn, but that's okay. The Elf could also have reborned a Diviner. If you reborn Diviner during the opponent's turn with Elf, it could then trigger an Entis to pop a card in the field possibly, or it could trigger a mill. We're going to negate a monster, negate anything, negate a special summon, negate anything. We're going to get Snow in the Grave through the Crime, but we can't get Snow in the Grave through Crime unless, let's read it, negate the activation, and if you do, shuffle that card in the deck, then send the Snow to the graveyard. So what this means is, if I activate a Maxi from the hand, does Snow get discarded by Crime? No, because the Maxi is no longer in the original spot where you are negating it. Only in the original spot where it's negated can we get the snow engrave. Very important detail. Let's see what happens. Droplet, we got the board breaker off the top of the deck. Rukalis is going to attempt to negate the Sharon. We're going to Droplet send the Meta Noise plus the Tier Cash to negate the Rukalos and the Baron de Fleur. Negate. Both monsters mate. We still have Sulliek monster negate. We have Crime. We're going to be milling 3, nothing triggering off of the mill. We're going to trigger our own Tier Scream, trigger the Sharon, randomly milled off the top of the deck to come forth and infuse into a Tier Kick Cow. Kick Cow could send from the deck to the grave a Tearlament to trigger. Hovness is going to fuse 3 bodies into a Kaleido Heart. Kaleido Heart on summons going to spin a card in the field back into the deck you go. Let's follow up with Fiendsmith Engraver. Let's use Keldo to shuffle it back. We're going to target our own instant fusion, target the Fairy Tale Snow, target the Engraver. Fairy Tale Snow, in response to being shuffled back in the deck, is going to banish 7 cards to Reborn from Engrave. The Crime is going to negate the Fairy Tale Snow. Not today. Negate the activation, shuffle back in the deck, and as I said, only if shuffled back do we get to discard our own Fairy Tale Snow. Thus, we have now gained an additional disruption. Now, Fairy Tale Snow is not one disruption, it's more than one because the Sulliek can, after the Snow reborns and flips a monster face down, we can use Sulliek to send it back to the grave, negate another monster, then reborn it and flip down another monster on the field. We have so much layered disruption from Rentos' side of the field, and I should also say their graveyard. We're going to flip it back up, but what are we going to do off of that? Sulliek is still ready to negate. Let's hop into another duel in the top 8. Start this off with the Millennium Engine, which apparently is so good it's using a no banlist event. We're going to be reborning the Engraver, and just like that, we're ending on the ability to go into a Little Knight. Late to the party is Nibiru. Good freaking job. The Little Knight's going to be a double banish, and we also have Promethean Princess being able to pop on special summon. With just Engraver, is this enough? Regained is going to not even be able to reborn Druistorm in response to their Promethean coming out. Come to us tracked. Let's activate Regained in response to the Little Knight. That is going to be the way that we're going to grab a Lacrima Crimson Tear. Discard Nibiru here. Crimson Tear, send from the deck a Fiendsmith in Paradise, which can now trigger off of their special summon from Little Knight or the Promethean Princess to send a card from the field to the grave. We're activating Max C straight to the battle phase. No activation of the Masquerena. Interesting. We didn't want to trigger anything crazy. Off the top of the deck, original Sinful Spoils. Ain't no way. What the heck was that? Oak, which is banned, is now back. Welcome back, Snake Eye Oak. As we summon Snake Eye Ash onto the field at a Poplar. We do have something. We have Fiendsmith in Paradise. We're just waiting to trigger its effect to Desiree send a card from the field to the grave. We're doing it now. Paradise, send Desiree. Desiree, return back Engraver. Send the... Oh my Jesus, Flameburst now triggering Reborn from Engrave. We also have the Snake Eye Temple. There's not much we could do. This is going to put the field at over 10,000 damage. Take out the Crimson Tear. And just like that, Aaron advances into the top 4. Snake Eye can't win today's event. Surely. There's no way. What does Pot Agreed do? Against Perelia. Perelia is going to be drawn per card that you summon from the hand. Pot Agreed, draw 2, no draw on Lockbird. As we grab our Pressure Planet Kashtira field spell, come to us, Unicorn. Unicorn giving them a draw 1. We now have a Theosis. This is the choke point with your Ash Blossom to negate, summon a Fenrir mate. Fenrir is going to be searching our deck for a Scareclaw Kashtira. Let's turn this into a Shang-Ri. With our Shang-Ri, we're going to set our Big Bang. The Big Bang, while on the field, has the effect of if a player controls 2 or more monsters, they must banish monsters they control so that they only control 1. And the Shang-Ri could summon from the deck, let's say a Unicorn possibly. Shang-Ri into Unicorn. Now, you would think we just have Unicorn and Big Bang. We also have the field spell comboed up with the Shang-Ri. Once we banish a card from the opponent's extra deck face down, that will trigger the field spell because of Shang-Ri locking up a zone to pop a card on the field. Harpy Feather Duster, say goodbye to the Big Bang, goodbye to the field spell pop. All we have left is Unicorn. Look at the extra deck against Tenpai. Why is Tenpai in a no ban list tournament? I can't even tell you why. I don't know what they're using and abusing. Pot of Peas banned, I guess they get to use that. Terraforming, are you freaking kidding me? Unicorn's gonna banish away the Transcendent Dragon. Now, was that their only copy of Transcendent Dragon? Yes, it is. They do not have another copy of Transcendent. We're gonna summon a Scareclaw Kashtira within the end of the main phase, banishing the Kashtira Bang. So we're gonna bang our Shang-Ri to grab Fenrir, then summon it back onto the field. We're gonna Super Poly within the battle phase, fuse away the Shang-Ri into a Moo Dragon. Now, what does Fadra do at the start of the damage step? It does nothing. You can't reborn a monster because the Scareclaw Kashtira states that if your Kashtira or Scareclaw monster battles an opponent's monster, that monster's effects are negated until the end of this turn. It can't do anything. It is fully freaking negated. We're now main phase 2 with Tenpai. Hida is here. Hida reborn the Shang-Ri. Come to me. Fenrir trigger, banish away the Hida as Tenpai scoops it up to Scareclaw Kashtira. Wow. I thought Kid Art lost this. I don't know what the heck. I guess he won because of Pot of Greed, right? Obviously. We are going to Max C in the draw phase, Kashtira Birth to ensure that we can normal summon the Unicorn instead of triggering a Max C draw. Bro's got double Fool Loss and Max C. Wait, are we drawing not 2 cards, but 3 cards? Yes, we are. Draw 3, double Fool Loss, and Max freaking C. Look at the lingering effects. Max C, Fool Loss, and Fool Loss. 1, 2, 3. Off the top of the freaking deck. Unicorn banish away a Trident Dragon this time. We're gonna negate the Fenrir so that you cannot search for a Rise Heart. No Rise Heart for you, or maybe Scareclaw Kashtira would have been a better search. We do have Fenrir's ability to banish a card face down. Unicorn to look at the extra deck to banish maybe the Trident. We already banished the Trident Dragon. Banish the Transcendent Dragon this time. As the Genroku activates to summon for the deck, we're to chain Max C, Ash Blossom, negate the Max C, and we're getting ready to Unicorn now. Unicorn it up. Let's look at the extra deck. It all comes down to this. Hydra is here. Let's go. Unicorn, look at the extra deck. Fenrir, banish the Hydra face down. Let's do it. They have already used up their normal summon. Transcendent Dragon is completely gone. We now have a Sangan Summoning. Sangan Summoning activating to search our deck. That will be triggering the Birth to banish 3 cards to the opponent's graveyard face down. Come to me, Hydra. Discard Hydra. We have Kaiman. In the battle phase, we're going to Kaiman, add a Chandra, and special summon it onto the field. At the start of the damage step, we're going to reborn, summon from the deck that is a Fadra to then reborn from engrave the Hydra. Now we're going to activate the Chandra to synchro summon into a Bident Dragon. Bident Dragon on summon's going to reborn the Chandra back in the field. We do not have Transcendent Dragon. We do not have a Trident Dragon. What can we even go into? We're going to go to a Q-Belt. Q-Belt on, someone's going to pop away the Kashtira Birth. Looks like we're not going for lethal damage. Evenly match at the end of the battle phase. How can you use evenly match against Tenpai? That makes no sense. What the? Banishing everything but 1 card, so we can't even end on a Hieratic Seal. We got rid of the Birth because we don't want him to reborn back as monsters. We're going to activate Dimensional Fissure, and then the Kashtira Birth, reborning the Fenrir, searching our deck for a Kashtira Unicorn, which can just be normal summoned. Unicorn is going to be searching our deck for Theosis. Now you may be thinking, why didn't we droll to stop the Unicorn from searching for the Theosis? Well, if we read the droll, if a card is added, you're going to have to send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Not possible under the effect of Fissure. Fissure against Tenpai actually worked just like evenly matched. Theosis on Fenrir, summon from the deck an Ogre into defense. It has to be in defense as we search for a Preparations. To battle we go. On the attack, banish away the Bident Dragon face down. We don't have another Bident Dragon in grave as we banish away the second and final copy of that Bident Dragon as we main phase 2. A Rise Heart. Any card sent to the grave is now banished, not just the monsters. We can target any card in the field and banish. Harpy Feather Duster off the top of the deck. Wipe away the back row. We have Genroku. A Rise Heart's going to suck up a banished card here. Setting a Drowan Lockbird. Banish away that Drowan Lockbird. A Rise Heart further sucking up the Ogre. Is this the end? They have 3,100 life. We need one more monster. That's not it. Are you freaking kidding me? We don't even have the effect to banish a card during the next turn. They could literally summon Genroku undisrupted. What? Now we have Zeus. We will be able to disrupt him now. Non-target field wipe. Into another D-Fisher. Normal summon the Genroku. Activate summon for the deck of Pydra. Pydra with nothing to search. Kaiman and the field spell are no more. To battle we go. Lethal damage. Wait, you take no battle damage. Lethal damage. If he didn't top deck a monster, can you imagine if he just swung with Zeus thinking he had game? Oh my Jesus. 2-0 victory as we're going to hop into the other top 4 match. Graceful Charity, draw 3, discard a Mudora and the Agido. Agido triggered to mill 5 cards off of both players' decks. We're going to be triggering Engrave the Tear Cache to mill an additional 2 cards as the Tear Scream searches our deck for a Sulliek. We just have impermanence. Imperm ideally will be used on a Kick Cow, I would think, as the Sharon Engrave is going to be triggered to fuse into a Kick Cow on summon Imperm Negate. We're stopping multiple effects here. A way to get into the Graver to stop it from milling 5, a way where it would reborn a monster, also it trying to search the deck, completely negated. The Grief is going to summon for the deck, but then that will send the Kick Cow by card effect, thus going around the impermanence to still mill 5. Havness will be triggering to fuse away with the Engrave Baldrake to make a Mood Dragon. Mood Dragon is making the Rhino Heart untargetable as the Merly now activates to fuse away into a Rukalos, also untargetable thanks to the Mood Dragon. Shock Master is here! No way I played this back in wind up! What does this do? It's banned! 3 level 4 monsters! Once per turn, detach and exceeds material from this card to declare a monster, a card type that is. You declare monster, spell, or trap. That type of card cannot be activated until the end of your opponent's next turn. What are we declaring? Monster, of course. Monster effect. Now, is it both players? I gotta remember that. You detach that type of card. It cannot be activated from either player. No one can activate. You can't even activate your own Rukalos? What the heck? It doesn't specify the opponent. It's just neither player cannot activate monster effects. Detach, declare, scooping it up right away. What am I gonna even do against the Shockmaster? Oh my Jesus. Golem into the back row, come forth, searching for the Wedju Temple, Senjin in the back row, searching for another Senjin. We're going to be linking this up into a Moon of the Closed Heaven, which will now be turning on the Bestials. We have Requiem, activating to summon a Crimson Tear, sending Engraver here, Engraver attempt to summon, which is when we're going to see our very first Bestial activation, banish away the Engraver. Not today. Bestials are the best today as they not only counter Fiendsmith, they're counting all the Tearlament plays. Wedju Temple, putting Senjin and a Golem into the back row. We're going to Baldrake, get ready so that it can banish the Doom Dragon on summon. Doom Dragon on summon, trigger the Baldrake, tribute off the Magnum Hut. Not today, banish it away. Are we going to normal summon our Ash Blossom to make a play with the Crimson Tear potentially? We have a Divine Temple to put into our back row, our Snake Eye Ash, set the Shiranui Saga, which can it even activate? You have to tribute a Shiranui or a Mayakashi, which is not possible. What are we gonna do? We just have Ash. Off the top of the deck, we have Diviner, which could send a Miller from the deck to the grave. That's exactly what we're gonna do. Unless we Ash it, well, we could Ash the Mill effect itself instead. Now, the Divine Temple is Chainlink blocking it, so I do intend to see that, right? That's gonna be the way. Ash on summon, send. We got to be careful here. If we activate Ash, we chain link block the Guido, then we cannot use Ash. What's gonna look like is it's only gonna ask you to use Ash and not your other Ash. So you have to say no to the Ash on field to then Ash the Agido. We did not. Oh my cheese. What are we doing? Like, if they mill a Tearlament, you can't Ash it. This was our best Ash. We're in big trouble if this mills a tier. Mill 5, triggered a tier, as we're now going to chain Poplar summon from the Ash dilemma. Come forth Poplar, Sharon fusing with the graveyard to now summon our Kit Cal. The Scream Mill 3 is what we're going to negate with Ash. What are we going to... No, we're going to chain link block that also. Poplar searching our deck for the next turn. Do you really think there's a next turn if we're at 4,000 life? I don't think so. We randomly mill a Fairy Tale Snow into the graveyard. Rhinoheart is going to trigger. Tier Cash is going to be chained. This is the legal cheat with Rhino. Rhino is only a legal activation if you have a tier in hand, and then it's a mandatory effect. You must send a Tearlament from your hand to the graveyard on the resolution, but I don't have to show you my hand. I don't have a tier in hand, though. Nothing to send for your mandatory effect to send a tier, which is only activatable if you have a tier in hand. Rhino and Tier Cash are going to be triggering here, send from the deck, and mill 3. Randomly milling a Sharon. We now have Hovness in graveyard. Let's fuse it up. Come forth into Kaleido Heart on summon. We're going to spin a card on the field back in the deck without even knowing what that back row card is. Get rid of it. We're now going to banish away the Diablo Star. Come forth Dark. We all knew it. You knew it. I knew it. There's no way that Snake Eye was going to be better than Tearlament in a no ban list event, even with the tier card still being heavily restricted. Let's take out the Snake Eye Ash to the face. Lethal damage, kick Kalos as Tearlament advances into the grand finale against Kashtira. Let's go. We have Kashtira at the top. Pressure Planet searching for our Kashtira Fenrir. Special summon Fenrir, searching our deck for our tier cash. All we have to do is summon a turn 1 Arise Heart and we should win the entire duel, yes? Even if you have a card like Forbidden Droplet, it cannot be used with a Rise Heart on the field. Wait a second, I'm confused. This is not Tearlament. This is Tearlament at the top. Kashtira's at the bottom. We don't have to turn 1 a Rise Heart. We have to turn 1 just summon a bunch of disruptions. I got confused on who's who. Sharon searching our deck here through the effect of the Kid Cal. We're going to Ash Blossom, negate the Sharon, which would special summon and mill 3. This is a great negate. We still have our normal summon. Now, Kit Cal is going to send herself to the graveyard, special summon a tier cash. This will result in a total mill of 8 cards. Let's mill 3. We have a Keldo in graveyard to shuffle. Uh-oh, that's it. Mill 5 from both players. Agido, do we want a mill 5 for Kashtira? Why not, right? We have Rhinoheart triggering to Reborn. We have Agido with the mill 5 play. Mill 5 for both players. We now have a Fairy Tale Snow in graveyard. We have the Rhinoheart on summon triggering. Sharon is also triggering to fusion summon. Sharon fuse it up. Come forth into our Rukalos. Special summon negate is now ready, mate, as we send a Merly from the deck to the grave. Banned Merly is back as we fuse into a Moo Dragon. We have Fairy Tale Snow. What? We have 5 monsters, and then we're banishing 1 on the field. We banished a Graceful freaking Charity from the graveyard to summon our Fairy Tale Snow. And now we're going into a Shockmaster. Unlock the Shock is here, getting 3 level 4 monsters on the field. Oh my Jesus, we're gonna grab a Tearlament Crime. And now we're gonna unlock the Shock right now, declaring trap cards. Wow. You detach Nixie's material, declare trap, and trap now cannot be activated until the end of your opponent's next turn. Wouldn't that turn off our own crime? We can't crime. Okay. Is that the correct play? You search the trap that can't be used. Pot of Prosperity, which, believe it or not, is freaking banned. We're going to be looking up the top 6 cards. We're scared of evenly match, I believe, but the crime negates evenly match. That's the evenly match, which will no longer be used. Sure. We have Kashtira Birth. Special summon the Unicorn. Unicorn activating to search our deck for another birth, meaning we already have the Theosis. right? Unless Theosis was randomly milled. We have Birth attempting to activate to reborn a monster in grave. Now it's a non-target reborn, so we're just going to shuffle back as many Kashtiras in grave that we can. Return back the Ogre and Fenrir. Not today. Trigger the Unicorn. Look at the extra deck. Banish face down the Kick Cal. Trigger the Fenrir to banish face down the Unicorn. We're going to summon our Rise Heart. Trigger the Tear Scream. Mill 3 here. Birth is now going to be triggering to banish 3 cards in the opponent's graveyard. And we just banished the Fairy Tale Snow. We did not reborn it before it got banished. We have Rise Heart from our hand, special summoning onto the field alongside the one that was normal summoned. Kid Art, what is our play? Trap effects could not be activated, which I really don't think was that big of a deal, right? We still have the Rukalos effect of negating a special summon. The Crime in the back row is no good due to the Shockmaster locking it up. Let's Rise Heart, banish from the deck, and then banish 3 cards off of the opponent's deck at the same time. Probably has no time, no chain. You think so? Is Rento's already out of time within this duel, losing out on our Fairy Tale Snow play? 3 cards randomly banished face down as we banish just an Ogre. We now have our big Theosis play. The Rukalos will, of course, negate that play. Now, the Birth already activated to reborn. The Theosis is now gone, and the Rise Heart specifically states that you are not able to summon from the extra deck except Xyz monsters. No link summon play. And what we have left is nothing. We can't do anything. We simply just have to end this duel. Deal 8,000 damage. We have 8,900. We can get rid of 1 monster through the Fenrir. We just need an additional body for game. Shock in D. What are you doing if you're not trying to just end the duel, mate? Detach a Fenrir, declare spell. Spell cards are now prevented. I guess we could not perform lethal damage, and we just want to keep the Shock and D. Let's take out the Rise Heart, as the Fenrir will now on attack banish a card on the field face down. Get rid of the Birth. Spell cards are no good. Spell trap cards cannot be activated. That type of card, spell and trap card, cannot be activated. Cannot activate its effects. So the Birth could still activate under the Shockmaster. Even though the card tech's a bit old, you declare spell. Spell cannot be activated, but monster effects cannot be activated. Or if monster cannot activate its effects. Right? It's not preventing the effect of Birth from activating, I would think, unless it's also applying to it. Kid Art, is Birth activatable or not? Is this the spell could not be activated and it says or. So it should not be applying to the effect activation of the Birth. Let's find out as I said, there you go. Birth is still activatable. Rukalos, it does not stop the effect activation. Rukal, negate and destroy. As we're gonna send the Crime from our hand here. GG, it's over. Is it? Fenrir will now be triggering to banish away the opposing player's Fenrir. We're also big enough to take out the Shockmaster. Crime, when sent to the graveyard, is going to be triggering to grab back our Tearlament Kashtira, which is banished. We're also going to chain Sulliek. Sulliek is going to negate the opposing player's Fenrir. If Rukalos is sent to the graveyard after it was fusion summoned, it will be able to come back onto the field. That's exactly why we're sending the Rukalos itself. Add back the Tear Cash, which we can. Trigger Mill 3. Get ready for that. Rukal, come forth, Fenrir. Our Fenrir now triggering, banishing away the Fenrir, which will now take this into game 2. I have to be honest, the Shockmaster was quite disappointing. This wasn't the crazy back in my day completely turn off monster effects, as it also turns off your own monster effects. And I think that's why we didn't want to turn off monster effects, because of our own. We were very much just afraid of the opposing players evenly match. Now, we all thought that the back row card was a Crime. We instead set a Sulliek. Lethal damage. Let's hop into game 2. Dimension Shifter. And Pot of Greed. What the? And terraforming. Back-to-back banned cards in our hand. Oh my Jesus. Let's pressure Planet Kashtira. This is what you get for defeating me game 1. Not again. We're going to grab a unicorn from our deck here. Come forth and summon our Kashtira unicorn, searching our deck. You could still use an Impermanence. You can't use Valor. Valor is negated. Now, would you expect Imperm to be played in Tearlament? I would not expect it. There's no way they have room for it. Theosis onto the unicorn. Ash Blossom is still activatable, but wouldn't you have ashed the Pot of Greed, the ultimate Ash Eater? Summon from the deck, Fenrir. Fenrir now searching our deck for the Arise Heart. This is the Arise Heart play. But you know what the Arise Heart play means? It means getting Nibiru'd if you make it like this. This is summon number 3. The Arise Heart's going to be summoned as summon number 4. And summon number 5 puts us in the Nibiru zone. We could have played around Nibiru by summoning Arise Heart and not making the Shangri, and then going straight into the Arise Heart as our 4th and final summon. Big bang. Let's now bang up our Shangri. This is the greedier play where we feel that they are not playing Nibiru. If we remember from any of the previous games through Rento's milling almost his entire deck, has anyone seen Nibiru? I have no idea. Do we even expect Nibiru here, as we're going to be waiting until the end of the main phase to activate that Nibiru, whether we have it or not? Get ready for that. This is it. The Arise Heart will be ensuring that any card sent to the grave is banished. And while a lot of players today, I've been seeing them play Forbidden Droplet, Droplet is not even a legal activation with the Arise Heart in the field. We're going to turn this into a Mind Hacker. Mind Hacker is going to detach. Look at the extra deck. Nibiru is being played! Rentos, no way! What the? He was about to banish the Kick Callus from the extra deck. Oh my Jesus. Birthing back onto the field. You are not going to be banishing my Kick Cal from the extra deck. Not today. We're going to birth the Ogre additionally on the field. He felt that he had to Nibiru early. He couldn't wait until the end of the main phase. The Mind Hacker was threatening that banish. And because of that, we now get to make an Arise Heart. We had 2 options here. Option 1 was get rid of the Arise Heart with Nibiru, but we now don't have a Kick Callus because it is banished. Or we keep Kick Callus, but now there's an Arise Heart on the field. Uh-oh. Any card sent to the grave is banished instead. Now, the Arise Heart is not immediately a form of disruption. Not until at least 2 cards get banished do we then have the ability to target a card in the field and banish it. So did we mess up our Nibiru? We're going to reborn back the Shangri within the draw phase so it could standby phase summon from the deck a Unicorn, which if we went all out to stop them from banishing our Kick Callus, we probably can still banish Kick Callus with the Unicorn. Trigger the effect. We're now going to Rise Heart, gain our 2nd material. Only on the 3rd material will we be able to now banish a card in the field with the Arise Heart. Activate the Pressure Planet, which would have triggered the birth if there were 3 cards in the graveyard. We're going to Ash negate. No search for you, mate. Rentos, I have no idea what's in your hand, but what can you do? And just like that, we now have the 3rd material, which if we really want to banish a Kick Cow early, we could banish their field spell, which would be a bad play, which would trigger the effect of the Shangri, and then we would be able, well, we actually can't trigger the Unicorn yet. We gotta wait, we gotta chill. We don't want to banish face down. We have a targeting effect. Graceful Charity has been banished. Also, please do not surrender in the grand finales. We now hop into game 3. Gianna, let them know, please. Foolish Burial Goods. We're going to send from the deck a Sulliek to search our deck for a Tearlament Rhinoheart. Rhinoheart on summon, send from the deck a Havnis. Havnis is going to be triggering to check for impermanence. This is Imperm or Valor check for Kid Art. It's resolving. Uh-oh. Is Kid Art going to be able to stop a full power turn 1 Tearlament play? As you send Tier Cash to mill 2, we then reborn it to additionally mill 8 more cards. We have Kaldo now in graveyard. There's no way you're playing Bestials, right, Kid Art? Possibly, I would think you're not, unless you're heavily leaning on countering them. You probably would have already used a Bestial if you had one. Here is our mill 8 play. So we already milled 2. We're now milling 3, milling 5, and then maybe milling an additional 5. We did not randomly mill into a Kelbeck or the Agido. Now, if we have a way to reborn the Diviner through, let's say, a Sprite Elf, it will trigger to then send the Agido from the deck to then mill an additional 5. Scream and Sense the Grave, adding a Crime. Are you passing like this? That's it? That's full power Tearlament? You what, mate? Let's analyze the graveyard real quick. In grave, we have nothing we can make use of besides the Keldo, which, is this really a form of disruption against Kashtira? I guess if they have a Kashtira in grave they want to reborn with Birth, you just bounce it back into the deck, possibly. We have Maxi, though. Just like that, Ash Blossom, negate the Maxi. Not today. So that makes me think we possibly just top decked into our Ash Blossom. Now, we know that Rentos has Crime. If we use Crime to negate the Ash Blossom to ensure the Maxi goes through, this is it. Game number 3, it all comes down to this. Negate the Ash. Now, guess what? I don't have to discard with the Crime because it's only if the Ash gets shuffled back in the deck do we have to actually discard, but that could actually be a downside that we were not able to discard if we really wanted to send a card from our hands to the grave. Banned in Master Duel, Terraforming, add a field spell to our hand. Pot of Greed, draw 2, I may be under the effect of Max C. And Graceful Charity. Oh my Jesus. Draw 2 into draw 3, discard 2 cards. Pot of P also banned. Our hand is so good we got rid of Pot of P. Your hand has to be literally perfect. Kid Art, you're not allowed to lose now. How do you discard Pot of P? Optionally, this was not a random discard. It is a Heartbeat. Heartbeat is going to spin the Pressure Planet, stopping the search. No search for you. Essentially, negate. MST negate, discarding our DD Crow. Now, DD Crow's not going to be very good against Kashtira, obviously, so it is an obvious discard here. What could be that final card in hand? I'm not sure if it's public knowledge. We have the Birth. With our Birth, we could normal summon under the effect of Max C, and that's exactly what we intend to do. This ensures that any other Kashtira in the hand now can't be special summoned as we are blocking it with the normal summoned Unicorn. Unicorn, search our deck for a Theosis or a Birth if we already have Theosis. Do we really want to use Theosis under the effect of Max C? Sure, why not? The monster does get summoned into defense, thus a Fenrir is not going to be able to attack to then trigger the effect to banish a card face down. Fenrir is going to be searching here. Do we want to special summon Rise Heart? Do we want to at least try our best to commit to an Arise Heart, which would be 2 more special summons to ensure that any card sent to the grave is banished instead? Kid Art has a very difficult decision here, and not only are we under Max C, we now have confirmed that they do play Nibiru, thus we would want to make the minimal Arise Heart play. We're doing it. Kid Art is going all the way. Our 3rd summon here. Rise Heart's going to banish a card from our deck, plus banish 3 cards from the opponent's deck face down. We're only at 3 summons here, and this will turn the Rise Heart into a level 7 to go straight into the Arise. First, we're going to battle. We're not going to Arise Heart, banish the Tier Cache from the graveyard. We want to banish from the extra deck, that's why. More important than ensuring the Tier Cache is banished is to banish away from their extra deck the Tier Kick Cow. That is why, that is the way. What? Kaleido. Kaleido's banished. We're allowing them to keep the Kick Cow. Kick Cow's in the graveyard, that's why. Kick Cow safely in grave. Now, how safe is it if we have Birth, which could banish it as soon as Rentos activates a spell card? Under Nibiru, this is 4 summons. They draw again. They have drawn 3 cards for this turn off of Max C. Any card sent to the grave is banished instead, and the Arise Heart will be able to target a card in the field and banish it. It all comes down to this. Forbidden Droplet is not activatable whatsoever. Do y'all agree with this play? Giving them a draw 3 for the Arise Heart, and now a normal summon Fairy Tale Snow flips it face down. We cannot stop the Fairy Tale Snow unless we have an impermanence. A single normal summon Snow completely stops the Arise Heart. How is this possible? Banish the Fairy Tail Snow, and with the Arise Heart now face down, Rentos does not have a normal summon. With no normal summon, what is our play? We could reinforce our hand with a Rhino Heart, but we can't normal summon it. That's no good. Okay, in Grave, we have nothing activated. We have Sharon. We have Ash. Keep that Sharon in your hand. Not today. No way. You are not going to discard a card from the hand and mill 3 plus special summon. He passes back. He has no response. Negate the Sharon mate. What else do we have? His field was lit after the activation of Ash, meaning he has something. Quick play activatable. We have a dead Rhino, a dead Sharon, ending the turn. It must have just been a hand trap in our hand. We have Preparation in the end phase. Use the effect. Is it another DD Crow, right? We already discarded a DD Crow. That's what you think? We're going to Keldo, use the Shuffler. Preparation is only able to special summon a Kashtira that's banished or in your hand. So, what is Keldo doing? No, nothing. But we're Keldoing before a monster would trigger, right? All the cards are banished. Let's return back. Hey, return back Graceful Charity. That's pretty good, right? You could Pot of Greed, then Keldo, return Pot of Greed back in your deck, then Graceful Charity, draw into the Pot of Greed. Why have I seen no tier player make that play today? Fenrir is back on the field as soon as the Arise Heart flips up. Just like that, any card sent to the grave is banished. Instead, we have a Dimensional Fissure, further ensuring any monster sent to the grave is now banished. Can we inflict lethal damage, 7,900 damage on the field? Kashtira preparations here. Summon the Ogre, come forth, over 10,000 damage. To the attack we go. There is nothing that could stop this. Even if we had Nibiru, there were not enough summons. Lethal damage. Cash freaking Tira winning with all banned cards being limited to 1. Absolutely insane. Kid Art, what the hell were you thinking today? He was thinking with the Mind Hacker, Pot of Greed, Pot of P, Terraforming, Graceful Charity. Wow. Nicely done, Kid Art. Let's keep on going.